Welcome to the world of sci-fi stories, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Enjoy the listening. I woke up at the end of the universe. Then a hologram called me a twat. The human wakes up, he is confused, his jaw aches, like it has been in a weird position for far too long. He stumbles out of the device that surrounded him, and looks around. His memories are coming back to him slowly. Who was he? Where was he? Why was this particular thing going on with and around him? He knew it had to make sense. Somehow he just had to remember his name. Slowly comes back to him. His name was his own, not important for the story, as will be evident. Later, he is on a starship in space. The name of the ship escaped him, but he knew. He was a crewman of the ship. He was the ship's janitor. Well, that was depressing. The ship is very quiet. He remembers that it isn't usually the case. It is weird. He starts to explore the room. He is looking for hints about where, why, who, how, the usual. He comes to find that he is in the ship's brig. He had emerged from a cryostasis pod, frozen during his time of the sentence for whatever he had done. He cannot recall, something to do with a cat. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. But for whatever reason he just now emerged from his cryopod. But where are the guards? Was he supposed to just get dressed and see himself out? Okay, then one good thing about being the ship's janitor is he has a key to every space on the ship. As he walks around, he finds nobody anywhere. The more he explores, the more he grows alarmed and is soon racing down the corridors, checking higher and higher clearance rooms. Nobody. He finally stops at the captain's quarters, fearing the worst. Maybe in here there would at least be an answer. There is no one inside. There is an odd dusting on the furniture, a light film covering everything. Was it dust? No, that is very unlikely. As a janitor, he is very familiar with the ship's anti-dust filters and static eliminators. For it to get this bad would mean that a flickering light catches his eye from the captain's desk. Of course, the ship's computer. He hurried to the desk display, faintly holographically lit. In the glass of the desk surface, he wiped the dust away from the display, leaving a thick film on his hand. Computer spawn, please. The computer's voice, remembered as a slightly British female contralto, is haggard and hoarse, distorted with feedback. Frazzle thingies. He is a janitor. He doesn't know any of the technical stuff, but he knows the computer sounds in very bad shape. I'm so sorry, the distorted voice says, barely understandable. There was no other option. Where's everybody? What happened? Gamma burst. Radiation. No, much worse. So where are the crew? Where are we? What's going on? No time. Companion upload almost complete. Final action. What does any of that mean? Can't you answer my questions more simply? Perhaps I can, said a nasty, slightly annoying voice from right behind him. He jumped in surprise, wheeling around to find a ship's hologram standing there. It is clearly a hologram, slightly see-through. He waved his hands through the hologram's chest. Please don't do that. I say, I've known you for 4 seconds, and you've already made me uncomfortable. We will have to work on this. Who are you supposed to be? He said, with equal measure of alarm, fear, and curiosity. The hologram pinched the bridge of its nose. I unfortunately am required to be your companion for the rest of your life. The hologram looked sadly down at the fading command desk computer screen. It was her last act, her last kindness for you. Oh, but why did it have to be me? This is seriously going to suck. He crossed his arms across his chest, already deciding that he really did not like this hologram very much. Well, you said you could simplify things. That means you know some answers. The hologram raised an eyebrow and managed to look down on him, even though it is no taller. Yes, I suppose this is my first duty to explain your sad, sorry state. Well, here it is. Brace yourself. You are the last human. No, literally, the date is what you would call the year 300 billion. 2022. Every other human is quite literally long gone. In fact, most of the prime sequence stars have all burned out and are gone from the universe. Only black holes and the many red dwarfs remain. He collapsed to the floor in shock. Really wish you would have sugarcoated it a bit, you jerk, he said, feeling ill to his stomach. You were in cryo when the freak gamma ray burst slammed into our hull, saturating the entire ship in its titanic radiation. What about the crew? All dead. Immediately all but you. Your cryopod was shielded with stasis in just the fortunate way to foil the radiation getting to you. Wait, I don't understand. The hologram sneered and gestured as if wiping dust from its hands. Over time they just dissolved to dust. It has really been a very long time. He stood up in instant revulsion, hurriedly trying to get all the dust on him off. It was impossible. The hologram simply watched with a smug little grin, playfully flicking the non-existent dust off of its holographic uniform. He definitely hated the hologram, no doubt about it. Boy, you're just a freaking ray of sunshine, aren't you? Was that a hateful hologram discrimination remark? Now that you mention it, it might have been, he said with a smile, happy to see this hologram was sentient enough to have feelings that could get trampled on a bit. That was kind of a good thing in his darkening situation, right? So it's just me. Radiated ship. Am I going to die from radiation? Now the hologram sighed and again pinched the bridge of its nose. No, the radiation has faded away by now. That was why you weren't released from cryostasis. The computer waited until the ship was safe to revive you. Do you even know what the year 300 billion actually means? Sure I do. It's a long time. Whatever, so I'm the only one. Does the ship work? Can't we just go somewhere? The hologram looked pained, as if it was explaining things for the 5th time to a child. You are the only one. No, the ship was fried in the burst, and besides there is really nowhere to even go anymore. The Milky Way gone. Even the Milkdrome is gone. The nearest thing is a red dwarf 86 light years away, but we can't move. We are a derelict in space. Well then, just what are we supposed to do? Don't worry, there is enough food and drink on board to feed you like a king for the rest of your life. That's not exactly what I'm concerned with at the moment, you inconsiderate talking billboard ad. Well, now that was definitely a hateful, discriminatory remark. Yeah, well, who are you going to complain to? What group of beings am I offending? It's just you and me out here, buddy, and I wanted to offend you. I guess I never thought about it that way. Wow, you have a very strange perspective on things. Call it my way of coping with all of this. But what are you all about anyway? Why are you like this? I've never met a self-aware kind of hologram before. The hologram looked thoughtful. The ship said, well, I don't really agree with it, but it was something like, you needed to not be alone for the rest of your life. You needed a companion. I was chosen and designed to keep you constantly slightly pissed off at me, for lack of better words, as the only means to ensure you will not fall into insanity as the decades roll on. Oh, stop it, you're making that up. Afraid not. Nope, a target for your frustrations and a sounding board for your thoughts with near constant ribbing is just what the doctor ordered for sad cases like you. I'm afraid, like I said, this is going to suck for me, and you should be thankful the ship spent a good 100 billion years just getting my holographic persistence field to work. Outside of her processes, another 100 years were spent on my sentience. All that time she could have been working to save herself, but no, she wanted you to not suffer, instead forestalling any repairs on herself to ensure the life support and living spaces were repaired by your time of revival. Oh well, I cannot really complain after you said all of that. So if you're stuck with me, then I'm stuck with you. At least we have each other still here. At the end, the hologram looked touched for a brief moment before snapping its uniform taut and saying, first thing we need you to do is get properly dressed and shaved shipshape, as it were. Just because the universe died and fell into decrepitude doesn't mean you get to be so on this ship. If I have to look at your meaty face forever, hey, off to the showers, you stink. Either way, by the time you come out, you better be clean-shaven and passing my inextionably auto cook may have a captain's steak dinner waiting for you. Well, now, I can't say no to that.